All right, this is a Blairing Out with Eric Blair show tonight, coming to you from Rasta Cowboy Records in beautiful downtown Tustin, California, with Orange County punk rock legend Rikk Agnew and his fiancée, the legendary keyboardist and backing vocalist of the influential death rock band Christian Death, Jetton Damone. You guys married yet?
We're married in the sense that we belong to each other.
Yeah, we don't need no stupid ceremony to...
Yes.
That's just for us, though. I mean, that's the way we are.
You guys are monogamous, and you just stick with each other.
We totally honor each other.
Jataun, how did you meet Rikk?
I met him in the record store that I worked at in Fullerton, Radiation Records. Yes, I met him there. He would come in. He got T-shirts printed there. I was too shy to meet him, actually, because I really looked up to him a lot. He's a big hero of mine for many years. And my coworker pushed me from the distro area in the back through the doors to the front area in the shop. And there I was, and there was Rikk, and I said, hi. I met him the first time there, but he was in a relationship, so we kind of said hi to each other through the years, and then we went on a date together. Just as friends, though, at that point.
What was the first date like?
It was great.
El Dorado Park.
Okay.
Yeah, took him for the 1 mile walk around El Dorado Park, and I brought a picnic, and we had a great time. Didn't want it to end. We had a great time talking.
Getting you healthy, Rikk. Taking you on the walk.
Oh, that and the food she made too is like we were going to have a picnic, and she had like nuts and like a salad and avocado. I'm like, well, where's the rest of it? That's it. I've always had big old crush on her from afar since I seen like when Catastrophe Ballet came out in 1983. Was it 84? 83?
It was 84.
84. And from that point, I mean, I was just like, enamored with her and stuff. And I guess she told me later on that.
Yeah, I also had a long distance crush on him for 30 years. Over 30 years. We never met.
We never met.
We never met during that whole time.
A lot of the times we were the same venue, same gigs, same places, but we never crossed paths.
You walked out when she walked in to Christian Death because you were in the band in 82, and then Jataun, you were in the band in 83. That's when you joined, correct?
Towards the end of it, yeah. You left the band.
Yeah, I left the band.
And then I don't know what happened to everybody else. I forgot what James told me.
Well, George was already gone.
George
we
was
had
gone,
China.
And then everybody left, and Roz was looking for a new band.
And you were in the band Pompeii 99 with Valor.
They had met each other and had long discussions, and that was of great interest to Roz. I was the last one, actually, to get into the band. Pompeii 99 were kind of in just like not doing anything. I was on my own, and Valor and David Glass they were going to become Roz's new band and tour Europe and make some records. And then I guess he was interested in a keyboard player and backing vocalist, so then I joined.
What was the mood of the band when you joined?
Oh, it was exciting. I was actually pregnant. I would go drive to Pomona to pick Roz up, and I couldn't smoke or drink with everybody else in the band did, so that was a little bit of a difference. But the mood of the band was very excited. Just like Rikk was saying about Roz, we'd get in the rehearsal room and he would spread a whole array of lyrics around, and we would play. And when he'd hear something he liked, he'd say, I like that, and so we'd develop it, make it into a song for him. He did sing some of the time. When we went to record Catastrophe Ballet, we hadn't actually heard him sing any of the songs, and then he went in and second take, he was, there it was. One take to warm up, and then second take, there was the song. And we hadn't heard it. He was pretty phenomenal. He was totally a phenomenal, genuine artist. I still miss him.
Did you really bond with Roz?
Yes. It was hard when he left the band, and I stayed in because I had children, and he understood it. When I left the band, he wrote me and said, "Hey, can we get back together and work?" And so we did.
You left the band in 1988, correct?
In 89, actually.
In 89, but it was after the run with the Sex, Drugs, and Jesus Christ album.
Yeah, it was after that album,
Yeah.
and after some 12-inch singles as well. I didn't really keep up. That was a big thing that Valor wanted to do, was to kind of expose his views on Christianity. He kind of went with, there was the original thing with Only Theater of Pain, which was legitimate because Roz's experience. It was a real genuine sentiment. After he left, the whole thing about religious hypocrisy, etc., is basically a judgment on religion that Valor, taking over as leader of the band, wanted to kind of, that was important to him. So I think that cover was designed to shock. It was certainly banned in some countries, but that's rock and roll.
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah, you're not doing the right thing unless you're stirring people up, and otherwise it's not rock and roll.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, when I saw that, I just was like, nice try, but, that's kind of weak. You know what I mean? It's like, that's so predictable. It's so obvious. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, I mean, like, what do you call it? Use Your Illusion, Delusion, whatever it's called, Zero.
That's just
that
shock value.
Leaving Trains put out, and they had like that song. And so it was, it had been done before, kind of thing. And then now I thought, I always thought I had a better, more shocking, because we wanted to up the shock barometer. I mean, we already get people during Only a Theater Pain protesting outside of our shows and everything. And Raj used to love to go out and have like smart discussions with people, and they kind of like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? Not just feel whatever, but I liked, the fact that we were on, the Channel 40 and stuff, and they'd show a picture of me saying I wrote with demons and all that. So it's like, okay. And they're burning, our records at Melody Land. It's like, okay, now we're gonna
tour in the South or in the Midwest because
And when we got, and then I go, oh, what we got to do is up the ante, And I had an idea that I wanted a guy that knew how to paint to make it look like a Michelangelo painting or whatever type thing, like real, and it'd be like a point of view from above the cross, kind of, and to have a painting where people like Jesus on the cross crucified. And Roz is climbing up the crucifix and grabbing Jesus like by the waist like this and stabbing him in the heart, like ripping his heart with a knife. And at the same time,
really extreme.
oh yeah.
It's
People that were, they're standing there that were, for the crucifix, the people that were there, even the royal guard, I mean, the Roman soldiers would be like, going like, like terror and everything and stuff. And I thought that would be one to like get them real riled up,
And that was before you.
The end word on the shock value.
But that was before you left the band when you came up with that concept, correct?
It was going to be the second album. But then I had left before the second album got finished.
So I mean, dabbling into those kind of things eventually didn't end up being a healthy move.
Oh, of course. I just looked at it as art and shock value. I love shocking people, and I like getting reactions out of people. It's my favorite hobby. I do a lot of things sometimes just for reaction.
Well, people who know me, they really know me. They know that's. I'm interested in art. I'm interested in the art of voice and the art, in exploring music. The rest is, I create art and paintings. I guess I do. I like to thrill myself sometimes with some shocking art, but in my paintings. But I'm really simple. And in those years, I was a mom too. I gave birth to my son on the first Christian Death tour. And I had a daughter a few years after, and I toured. I was really busy looking after my kids while we toured. So that's what I was all about, always just in a quest for making better art and music and voice.
No sex and drugs for this one. She had to be watching her
that's
kid.
Not really true, but
Yeah, but
But as far as thinking of this, shock value, life was shocking enough to me. Seriously.
Yeah, life is. Why did you exit Christian Death in 1988? What was your motivation?
My motivation, I left. I had to go. Just put it that way. I had to leave. Personal things. I wasn't really interested in the direction of the music that was happening, or the politics, but there's a lot of personal elements involved, and I had to leave. And I went to Amsterdam and started my solo career.
Rick, what do you love most about Jataun?
Jataun.
And Jataun, what do you love most about Rick?
Rick! Or Richard, as I like to call him. I like to take him out of his rock and roll frame. He's my Richard.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no one like him.
Everything.
Yeah, we're two oddballs.
We like everything I like about her, everything, and she pretty much likes everything about me and stuff. We get fired up sometimes with but that's just I call it passion.
Jataun, how do you help to keep Rick healthy?
When I met him, he didn't know the difference between processed food and natural food. So I got him. He started staying with me, and so I started cooking for him the way that I eat, and so then he dropped about 60 pounds and started to get healthier. He was already doing all right on his own, but there's a big difference between processed food and unprocessed food. We don't need all the junk that's in the processed food. So yeah, I just started feeding him the way that I eat, and cooking a lot. Sometimes he has temper tantrums and he wants to, not follow it, and then he'll gain weight, and then he'll start crying to eat.
Well, I've never like from the time I got way down, I've never gained more than like 15 pounds back, maybe 20. But I always bring it back down. I'm lucky like that. I can go.
Yeah.
Not good for your heart, but
yeah. So that's how, just eating really nutritional foods that taste great. I was a head chef in a Epicurean kitchen when I was 23. I studied cuisines from the time I was a teenager, and I sort of put it all into natural, really organic ingredients, and use just the highest quality. I don't have a lot of money, but I shop around and find the best ingredients to cook with.
How would you say the musical chemistry differs from the Rikk Agnew Band to the Jetton Damone Quartet?
Rikk Agnew Band, everybody loves each other. Jetton Damone Quartet,
Family.
Everybody loves each other.
Families.
Yeah, just families, and we're completely in the quartet. We're completely committed to being connected together, or to playing, really integrating playing. When we play live, when we're in the studio, it's same thing. We're just we're very dedicated to what we're doing, completely 100%, and it's definitely a real high point every show to see what we can create out of the chaos.
Never know.
It's a music that incorporates punk rock, jazz, classical. There's avant-garde. There's crazy dynamics, and it's kind of a monster. But yet there are actual songs. There's songs. There's improvisations. There are frequency build-ups that happen of their own accord just when we're playing hard to each other, and I use my voice instrumentally as well, and it's it's very interesting music, and yeah, there's a lot of live footage online. But we have a lot of fun.
Number one rule.
Yeah, that is the number one rule. The number one rule, after all the bullshit that we've both been through in bands through the years, is it's got to be fun. It's got to be fun, or else
Jettison.
Forget it.
Do you guys like the direction the world's going in today?
It's going in a lot of directions. It's spinning. What I do is I'm involved in meditation, and I put positive energy out to the world. I don't want to put it. I don't want to say it's this way or that way. There are things going on that I don't care for at all. Crazy people, but I don't want to put any negative energy into it. So I do meditations for positive energy going into the world. Really.
You have to discipline yourself not to get caught up in the negativity.
I have, because otherwise I'm going right down the fucking hole with the rest of it, of people complaining. I'm attempting to do something, to put good energy into it. That's all I can do. My vote is, I vote, but I don't know if it's going to count. So I do something else. And I keep myself from getting angry and having stress and a lot of cortisol, wrecking myself, and do something else with it.
Like Rick was saying earlier, you guys are helping out the homeless. And not a lot of people are doing what you guys are doing, and doing it from a good place.
Yeah, we're doing, what we do is we try to create community efforts, not just for homeless, but for art and music as well. We people always talk about, back in the day, and those were the days. And I create projects for now that, aside from the homeless thing, at Cafe Nella. Dave Travis was involved in the early punk days too, or Paul said that he was always around as a kid, hanging out and watching the punk shows. Then he got a generator and started doing these guerrilla shows around areas outside. And he's got Cafe Nella, and he's so gracious to let me do things like have a put a 30-piece band together for a 20-minute version of Ava Braun, and put 17-piece orchestra, punk jazz orchestra together to do a 48-minute version of a Sun Ra piece, with punk jazz musicians, all kinds of people. And so I like to try to stick with now, like what's happening now, and
invent. Keep moving ahead. Don't get stuck, in a rut or a niche.
Yeah, and everybody can do it. Everybody can participate in creating what may be those days, in the future. But at least it's a lot of fun right now. It's to create a lot of fun right now. And, everybody does it. People do it. Every show is that way, too. But I like to do these certain things and get a group of people together, all kinds of people together.
Music, arts, positive things, little kitten videos on YouTube. Weed, lots of weed. When I said I was clean and sober, I didn't say anything about weed because I don't believe it's a drug. So, and I'm as far as weed, I'm a Rasta cowboy. I really.
That's a great plug.
Oh yeah, I love weed. It just it helps a lot.
If you guys could fix any one injustice in the world, what would it be?
Ecology of the planet right now, and that includes changing everything, changing people about the ecology as well. Changing the damage. If I could change anything, I would change the damage that's been done. It has to do with the mentality of people as well.
If you could fix any one injustice in the world, what would it be, Rick?
Well, an equaling of the masses. I mean, nobody should have that much money on that one end, and nobody should have to suffer on the other end. I mean, especially in downtown cities, you know, where you got guys in suits and everything coming out of their limos, stepping over homeless people. I mean, why is that? You know, why can't everybody just live comfortably? There's enough for everybody. There's enough for everybody to live comfortably, and that's it. That's all anybody should have to live, is comfortably. Too much power, too much money fucks people up. It makes them fucked up. They do no good for themselves and others. And people that are suffering and stuck out in the street and have nothing to eat, or, you know, I mean, come on, you know. I mean, if we can go out and raise, you know, things and help people doing that on what we barely survive on, why can't the rich? Why can't the, you know, there should be no such thing as the rich and the poor. It should be just people, like tribes.
What would you like your legacy to be?
What would I like it to be?
Yes.
Well, I'd like it to continue. I've done a lot of things and put a lot of work out. I just want that to continue and to continue exploring. I want to be an explorer in the field of music and voice and art and writing. All those are the main things that I do.
And Rick?
Just that, you know, what we've done, you know, if everybody, you know, can enjoy it, learn from it, carry the legacy on, you know, further and further. I mean, to me, when somebody says, I played guitar because of you, every time. I always get emotional. Every time, man, it just hits you right here.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, wow. To me, that's just like priceless. You know, there's so many different things like that. People say, you know, you saved my life. You've changed my life with your music. You've been a total inspiration. You got me through prison with your music. How can you pay for that? I mean, how can? To me, that's the most beautiful thing, you know. And that's where it shows that true
that's
art.
What it's worth. You know?
True art and music and everything and stuff. You can't put a price on it. Well, that's bullshit. Nice. You know, the price is it's an emotional thing. It's a spiritual thing, and that's why music industries and music business, it's an oxymoron as far as I'm concerned. You know, now I mean, don't get me wrong. It's cool to have record stores and everything like that. Everything.
Record stores.
I mean, it's not like they're getting super rich off it or anything either. You know, it's a community. Yeah. It's community. Yeah, I would like to push the envelope of. It needs to be community. When we talk about the people like, oh yeah, back in the day, God, it was so amazing back in the day. Well, if they look back in the day and they go, how come it's not like that anymore? How come you got to have unity and you got to have community, and it's just got to be like don't be greedy. Don't you know, get jealous. Greed and jealousy are the two biggest evils. Mm-hmm. You know, the blockheads on Gumby. That's what do you call it? We met Art Clokey one time at Tiny Nailers and asked about that, the G and the J on the side of the blockheads. And, you know, we thought it was like, is it God and Jesus and stuff? No, it's greed and jealousy. Wow. The two biggest destructive forces there are.
That's cool that you got to talk to that guy.
Yeah, he was amazing.
What is your greatest fear?
I don't I don't think about fear. So... I used to, but I don't anymore.
I mean, just like that one logo that comes from something in Orange County, that no fear. Don't fear really anything. I mean, the thing that people fear most in life is death, and it's like that's the most natural thing that can happen to you. I look forward to when it happens. You know, I'm not in a hurry, but you know, it's going to be an interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's things, the most extreme things that I don't want to happen, but fear,
fear just doesn't make any sense, you know. I mean, it's like if something is bothering you, then do something about it or overcome it, or, you know, if you do have a fear, because I used to have a lot of fears when I was younger and stuff.
Totally.
And what I discovered was the best way to do it is because it's got to sit there and nag it. Just take it face on. Just run right into the fire. You know, run right into it, and just see if you can come out unscathed or, you know, a little bit dust.
Jataun, how would you define the word love?
Oh, well, it's in the heart. something you feel in your heart. It's caring.
Mhm.
It's a deeply caring embrace. It's an energy that I meditate to put out to the world. It's the most important thing.
It is.
It's the very most important thing.
It's a solution answer to anything and everything that's bad. You know, if you just give it some love, and it'll be good. It'll be good. It'll be okay. People need to learn to love all the time, not be so egotistical and hung up on things, you know, that don't matter. I mean, if you just love, you know, I mean, that's all. Like even your criminals and your punks and everything, you know, ask anybody, like, you know, AJ from Das Clown and Wrong Beach and everything. It's like you said, you know, it's like all us fucking punks that were just so scary and everything, we were just looking for love. You know, that's all anybody wants and needs. And if you have love, you're good, you know, and love conquers all, as they say. All you need is love, as these limey dudes said once in a song.
When I left Christian Death and I started doing my solo material, I definitely, my goal was to put love out there, and this is way back in 89, 90. Like, I wanted to promote love with my work. I always brought it up a lot, and people were like, she's got that love sickness thing going on. So, then I really got kicked around some over the years, and I wrote about other things.
What one life event would you change if you could relive it?
Yeah, I'm happy where I'm at right now. So if something didn't happen, I wouldn't have, you know, wouldn't be where I'm at. Rick always says, all roads lead to now. So everything had to happen. I'm certainly not proud of some of the stuff that I've done. I've had to forgive myself for that, and or even make amends. But I don't know.
Rick?
No remorse, no regrets. You know, everything I did with the responsibility that if I was going to be punished for it, or it was the wrong thing, well, you know, I took my spankings like a big boy. And if it was things that have happened that was fun and cool, I tend to reflect on, and that's my memories. My fondest memories are fun memories, moments and everything and stuff. I don't like to dwell on things that in the past that, you know, that I feel like, oh, that sucked. I wish I could change that. Never, no, not. Only one thing that I finally decided that I would do it different, and I regret. Taking care of Mikey.
Yeah.
That's why I try to brush and floss as much as possible.
Yeah.
Take care of your teeth,
Don't do methamphetamine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah. 22 years of that.
What do you think your greatest achievement to date is?
Having children.
And Rick?
My daughter.
How important is fame to you, and could you live without it?
Not really important at all, and I could definitely live without it. But that I have it, I try to be as responsible as possible with it and everything, and, you know, try to guide people to do the right thing, you know, and everything, and just be a positive role model, a positive influence.
Jataun?
It's not important to me. However, it's great that if I create something that I have just enough to be able to put something out, maybe on a label, or, you know, that it can be exposed to some public that they would enjoy it, or it might be inspirational in some way.
The pros and cons of social media.
There's all kinds of pros for social media. That's how I do about like 95, if not more, % of my business. You know, hooking up with people, hooking up with shows, you know, and everything, hooking up with people that do tours and stuff in other countries and everything. It's beautiful as far as communication and getting things. If you use it for the right reasons, it's amazing and stuff. The only cons with it basically is like it's hard to get on Facebook sometimes, and then because that's what I usually mainly use is Facebook to do all kinds of business. Is when you got these people that completely abuse it. I mean, it's just like anything else in the world and in time and history. You know, when they use it to just air out their dirty laundry and to be negative, you know, once again, the negative delivery and stuff, but tend to just skip over that kind of thing and stuff. But besides that, yeah, it's you know, I think it's a progression. It's the progression of times, and you have to have it, you know.
Jataun,
He said it.
what's next for you guys?
I think we're probably going to go to Blaze Pizza and have ourselves
Just more of the same. More shows, more recording, more writing, you know.
painting and writing, just all kinds of stuff. Yeah, just carrying on what we're doing.
As we've been doing for all these years.
Jetton Damone, it's been awesome having you on the show. And Rick, thank you so much, man.
The Blairing Out Show.